We're live there.
We're live.
We live everywhere.
We are live everywhere.
Welcome to Friday Live Car Talk with Rally Sport Direct. This is episode 2. It is Friday, March 30th. It's almost the end of the month.
Holy crap, that's
so
insane.
If you guys haven't paid your bills yet, I recommend you do so now. Just as a friendly reminder, because I always need that reminder at the end of the month, it seems like.
That alarm.
Currently, our specials, let's just get this out of the way because we have some actually pretty cool deals right now. Spring sale, 10% off using code TAKE10. Obviously, some restrictions apply, but that gives you essentially 10% off your entire order.
Yeah.
Some exclusions.
Some exclusions.
Because there are companies out there who have a very, very strict MAP policy, which we don't mind at all. I know some people are like, it's weird because people call up and they get mad at us because, you know, some part isn't on sale, but.
And they get mad at us.
Yeah, they get mad at us, but it's not us. Like we would have everything on sale if we possibly could. But that literally expires in 8 hours, 57 minutes, and 47 seconds. Method Wheels is on sale, 20% off. These beautiful Method Wheels behind me. Honestly, Method Wheels are phenomenal. We actually have a bunch over there that we're going to put on some cars. Race Comp Engineering, you get a free $100 gift card that's automatically added to your order when you purchase either the Bilstein dampers or the Bilstein coilovers through Race Comp.
Yeah.
And Race Comp basically takes them and does their magic with them. But they already start out with a awesome Bilstein coilover or Bilstein damper, which is really cool.
Which you absolutely love.
I am a big, huge fan of Bilstein dampers. And we're giving away our car.
We are?
Yeah, we are.
When did that happen? Some dude commented on Instagram and goes, "You've been giving away this car for 3 years. When they're going to be announced?" What? Just like joking around for how long it's been going on.
But it really hasn't. It's actually a pretty short giveaway. I feel like it's a short giveaway, especially since I just replaced the lower injector O-ring on it because I do a boost test on it every so often just to make sure everything's on the up and up. And of course, it's the number 3 cylinder, so it's like the hardest one to get to.
Yes.
And it was just a tiny little leak there, but I figured, it's always better to
At least you have tiny hands.
That's true. It actually wasn't too bad to do. And I enjoy
these mittens.
Like when it's just something like that, I have like one thing to do, not like I have to install this and this and this and this and this. Like I enjoy it because then I can just take my time. I clean everything up. It's all nice. I re-lube everything and, get fresh parts on there. It's kind of cool. And it's good.
You've touched every single part on that car.
Just about every single part on that car. But anyway, the drawing ends April 10th. We're giving away $5,000 cash money on top of it. If you want to enter, you can either go to our website and buy anything. Every $5 you spend, you get 1 entry to win, or you can click on this, learn more, go into the official, wrong button. Go into the official rules, and it'll tell you how to send in to enter in for free. Because, you can enter it for free, or you can pay money to enter in. It doesn't matter. We treat all entries the same. Literally, there's no difference. Like
because we're not the one picking the winner.
We don't pick it. No.
So we have no clue really who's who.
No, we have no idea. And you don't want me picking it, to be quite honest with you. It would be
Rick would just be like, "That's an easy name to pronounce. Winner." I won't forget that name.
I do struggle with pronouncing names, unfortunately. So, but anyway, let's just go ahead and jump right into this now that we're done with all of our promo stuff. Is there anything else I was missing?
I would say just because this sale ends doesn't mean that we're not going to have some fantastic stuff soon.
Whoop, 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 wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So we've been really pushing hard on sales because a lot of you guys have asked for it. And so it's a lot more work for us, but we don't mind.
Well, because like the people are just like, I don't have the money right now. And if you can't do the Affirm, like that's totally fine. I understand that. But it's not like we don't never not have something on sale.
Yeah, something going on.
We have something going on.
And now, especially more than ever, I think we always have something on sale.
Yeah, we do. It's insane. Like, because I do the social media, I do the Facebook and the Instagram, and I'm always constantly posting about everything we have. And this is actually the most I've posted about sales and deals that we've had in a year so far than ever.
So we went to not to change the subject, but I'm going to just get now away from away from into something actually interesting. We went to Scrape Fest on Sunday, Pumpkin and myself, and it's interesting. It's actually kind of cool to see how the cars, the modifying industry, I think as a whole changes so much. Like every year I go to those, I'm always more surprised. I think like people's builds, like the creativity, the attention to detail, and like the cool. It's getting down to like the cool little things. Like I saw a white STI that had I can't describe it. Like you'd almost have to see it in person, but it had like honeycomb headlights. Like the actual projector was honeycomb, and you would change colors and stuff like that. And like, granted, it's not my style, but like, holy crap, it was really cool to see that.
Well, just to see how, like, you would think that like 10 years ago, that would look so horrible if like the top company tried to make that.
Right. Yeah.
And then now, just because of
it looks so clean.
It's so beautiful, like 3D printing.
I almost wish the headlights were turned off so I could have gotten a closer view, but they were so bright. But like, I still like, you know how every once in a while you're like, I wonder how long I can look at the sun for.
Yes.
Just to challenge yourself. It was kind of like that. And I just got up really close and I was looking at it, and it was really cool. A lot of trunk detail. Yes. You know, like a lot of people have custom trunk stuff, which is really cool because you think about it, how often do people see your trunk other than at a show when you pop it open? You know, like very rarely does somebody like actually get to see your trunk, where wheels, lighting accessories, stuff like that. Like everyone sees it all the time. And I totally get like you cruising down the road and people are like, whoa, cool wheels, man, or whatever, you know.
Like, oh, look, nice stance car. That looks good. It's aggressive. But like no one ever really sees the interior details of what someone has done to the car. Because in my opinion, a lot of those interior details take so much longer than anything else. The fiberglass work, the woodworking, the line routing. You don't see that stuff.
There was a Civic Type R that had a really cool wrap on it that was like textured.
Oh yeah, like that felt.
Like, it was like a felt. It was really interesting. It had like almost like like a felt. Like I wanted to touch it, and I wanted to ask the guy if I could touch it.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Like I chickened out.
Because it's that one time where it goes. It drives me insane when I see people touch people's cars.
Me too. Yeah.
But like that was the one time I think in the last few years I've ever just been like,
I want to touch.
I want to touch that. I want to see how that feels.
Because it's like the Michelin Pilot. The 4S.
The 4S has
a felt, but I actually touched one just the other day, and it doesn't look as cool as it does in the pictures. And I have a feeling the wrap on that would be the same way. It looks like it would feel really neat, but it's probably just like a raised texture or something like that. But it looked like felt, and I really wanted to touch it. So things like that, and then that wrap job on there's a GTR where they were actually wrapping at the show.
It was a 350.
Oh. Shows how much I know about cars. Some Nissan.
You can't tell for how many people are around it. I'll give you that.
I couldn't even get close to it, but they were doing a really cool wrap. A lot of anime, lewd anime stuff, which was really cool.
On that Beetle?
Yeah, but on even more cars than that.
Yeah.
And then outside, it was actually snowing really hard outside all day long. And I was really surprised to see how many people came to that, being that most people are super low, two-wheel drive, on summer tires, and yet people still braved the storm. We did, you know. I mean, we brought out the FRS.
Oh, that was so entertaining to see you drive.
I drove the FRS home, and I really thought I was going to die.
So you did Victory Donuts.
The FRS is on Audubon summer-only tires, the AO48s, and
PVC piping.
Yeah, basically they turned to like stone. But once I got back to the shop, I did some Victory Drifts, donuts, whatever, just because I lived.
You lived. Celebrate.
Hashtag we lived. Isn't that like the Subaru?
Yes.
The Subaru slogan? They lived.
Oh yeah, they lived. Yeah,
that's what it is.
Subaru.
but no, it was really cool. The meet was really interesting. It was fun to see some people. There was a 2JZ swapped, RB swapped Forester.
Yeah, RB20.
Which was RB20, which was really clean, really well done.
Yeah.
Just some really cool cars. There was a EG Civic, which was one of my favorites, and the dude was not nice to me. I went up to him and I just literally said, I'm like, hey man, it's really cool to see like a clean turbo EJ Civic hatch. You know, I'm like, I don't really see those anymore. And he kind of just like snubbed me. I was like, like, all right. So I took a picture of his car and bailed. But like, you know, it's cool. It's cool to see. I don't know. Maybe he just thought I was a jerk. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, and then that Ratchet 240, it was just oil stains.
Spilling gas and oil and everything. There were some cool cars. Anyway, let's talk car stuff. Best bang for your buck, fun or mile per gallon wise in your personal opinion, what is the best bang for the buck, fun mile per gallon wise?
So I will say new, and like again, like we've talked about this before, the EcoBoost Mustang. You can get 30 miles to the gallon.
You get really good feeling out of that thing.
And you can just tear ass everywhere and have so much fun.
Yeah. It feels big though. That's my only complaint is the hood feels so long. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever driven an EcoBoost Mustang or a new gen Mustang for that matter, but the hood feels like a mile long.
Yeah.
It just feels, it's not, but it feels.
Well, it's like actually one of the shortest hoods a Mustang's ever had.
Probably, but it feels really long, and it might be the seating position, it might be the dash, it might be the windshield, but it feels like. But then it's also cool because it feels more like a fighter pilot cockpit.
Yes.
You feel more like surrounded and stuff like that, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, the EcoBoost Mustang's really good. I would say either the Ford Focus RS or the Fiesta ST.
Well, what's the
Fiesta ST probably?
What's the RS rated at?
I don't know.
Per gallon.
What do I get in it, or what is it rated?
What do you get in it?
I get like sub 20s, I think. But when I drive that car, it's like it gets warmed up, and then it gets hammered on.
Yep.
And that's it. So like there is no in between. Like that, like I've always said, that is the one car that makes you drive like you're 16 years old. Like you're a 16-year-old punk street racer kid. You know those people. You see them all the time. They're everywhere they go. They're like flooring it, right?
Yeah.
Even if their car isn't fast, more than often than not, their car is not fast, but they're flooring it everywhere. That's what the Focus RS makes you do. Like there's something in it. It possesses your soul, and it makes you drive like a dickhead.
Okay.
And that's
so it's basically you're treating it like a stepchild redhead.
Yeah.
That's what
basically.
It wants. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I would say I would probably price mile per gallon. Fun Fiesta ST would probably be I just think the best all around car, or the BRZ FRS GT86 Scion FR.
Yeah, because those get like low 30s, right?
In mine, I got I think I would average about 30, and that's a really fun car. Not quite as puppy dog fun as the Fiesta ST, but still a very just fun, good driver, rear-wheel drive, so you can have that kind of shenanigans.
Okay, what about old car? And then now in this way, you can kind of Frankenstein it, like a typical Frankenstein, not throwing a Tesla motor in like an 80s Accord.
I don't know. Maybe like an EG hatch or something, like a built NA EG hatch, like not built, but like a B16 or like a B swap and an EG hatch or something would be proper. Just something that likes to rev. Put on some decent suspension, decent bushings, a decent seat, a decent steering wheel. And you have a really fun car that's going to get really good gas mileage. Sounds like crap. It rattles all the time. If someone hits you, you will die.
Yep.
But like that's just a fun, proper car that probably gets killer fuel economy.
Yeah, well, that's my answer.
Yeah, okay.
You get mid-30s on the freeway.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yes. What are the comforts What
are the car comforts that you wish? So I typed this all at the last second. My file deleted, so I had it's Friday evening. It's Easter weekend. All right, so we can just take our time. I think that's where everyone else is at right now.
Okay, I'll do this for you. What are the car comforts you wish you could have had 15 years ago? Okay, heated steering wheel. Literally one of the best things in the world. And the reason I didn't say heated seats is because some heated seats, if you had heated seats 15 years ago, it was either like off or hot lava on your gentleman bits. Like
it's on fire. You're like, nope.
There is no in between. They need to have a solenoid for the heat seaters that goes on and off. Like you just hear it click. It's like tick 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 tick, just to keep it. But like the new seat heaters are actually really good.
So they have multiple settings.
Yeah, and they have more of the seat. It's not just like a fire plate that you're sitting on. It's actual the whole entire. AC seats is incredible. Good suspension geometry with really tight steering and a good chassis is, in my opinion, a comfort type thing, because you don't need to have stiff bushings or anything, but the way the car, you drive a 15 STI that's not bone stock, that you add a little bit of camber in. that's basically about it. You just need a little bit better camber.
Yeah.
And it feels just so direct, maybe a little bit more caster, but it feels so direct and just so responsive. You never got that in a car. Like, I could add all the caster in the world to my old Impreza, and it would never feel like that because it's a combination of the rest of the suspension geometry and the stiff chassis and a quick steering. That's another thing. Quick steering rack would be nice with the power steering system that could keep up. Electric steering in the BRZ. I know that's a big no-no for some people, but in some cars, you don't know it's there. And that's the best electric steering is on those ones that you don't know that it's there. Like if no one told you that the BRZ had electric assisted steering, you would never know.
All right, so I'm actually going to stop you because people ask this often. How does the electric power steering simulate what you would get from the old hydraulic power steering system?
Better, because I think it's better because it feels, to me, it feels when you want it to be nice and light and loose, like driving in a parking lot.
Yep.
Doing a U-turn on a street, you know, like you're stopped and you like crank, and then go like that. Then it's perfect because you're like, oh yes, like I don't have to sit here and crank.
Use your pinky.
But as you're cruising, like as you're going through bumpy roads and stuff, and this is where I feel like the electric power steering is like in the BRZ is so good. Like you feel everything through the steering wheel. And then like you feel like it's very direct, like it's almost like it just turns itself off. It's just like, okay, I'm going bye-bye.
Yeah.
And then you just get direct steering because those skinny little tires, you don't need an assist, you know, at higher speeds or even above like 15 miles an hour.
No.
And it feels very direct, very, very like in tune with what's going on the road. And then, but then when you need it, it's just like, oh, okay, it's super easy. I mean, you still have to turn, you know, but like it's just there, and it's like, so I think electric steering is awesome. How about you?
I think so I'm going to kind of go into the power steering thing. I'm going to just go back a little bit. The one thing I don't miss is hitting a pothole while you're driving on the road when you have a car that does not have power steering.
Yeah.
Because that's how you break wrist.
It was bad. I mean, I've driven a lot of cars without power steering, and it's like, when I was younger, nothing ever really bothered me, like no AC, you know, like just no power steering, rattles, you know, all that kind of stuff. But now it's like I really appreciate those little things in cars that make them special and make them nice. And I feel like cars today are advanced enough to where you can still get a lot of these creature comforts and still have like a bespoke car that's fun to drive, that's designed from the ground up to give you something when you drive it, to like make you feel something when you drive it. But then you can also turn on the heat seaters and feel warmth in your bum or warmth in a steering wheel, or, you know, like just like there's these, and then roll up the windows and you get this nice quietness. The sport button, you know, you turn it back to comfort and everything's soft and plush, and you turn it to sport and everything gets stiff and livens up, and throttle response is really crisp, and you know, like that kind of stuff. Like I used to be diehard, like, you know, drive-by cable, manual everything, no electric nannies, nothing. And I think up to a point that was the best driving experience. Now, even with my old mentality, like my young person mentality, the new cars are so good though that like even with the electric nannies, even with all the comforts, even with everything, they're just better. Like they're a better driving experience. Like I still want to be able to turn off stability and control. I still want to be able to, you know, do, and most cars have that, and that's fine. But then to be able to drive home after you get done cruising the canyon or whatever, or going out to a track day, to be able to drive home and turn all the comfort stuff back on, it's the best thing. It is the best thing in the world.
Then I'm actually going to go and like skirt to the left real quick.
Okay.
Since we're talking about this, what would Rick today tell Rick 15 years ago not to do, driving wise? Life wise, that's a big open world.
Don't go street racing.
Don't go street racing. Okay, what happened?
I got in trouble street racing.
Yeah?
By the cops.
Where?
We have a local road called State Street where it's like, even I knew at that time you don't race on State Street, but there was this Mustang, a Fox body Mustang that was like sounded cammed and stuff like that.
What were you in?
A swapped Impreza.
Okay.
And And so I was just like, I'm like, oh, I could probably get him light to light, you know. And I wasn't even like out to race or anything. I was just like on the road,
just to cruise, man.
Just to cruise. And there he was. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll give him a run. And I guess the cop heard his engine revving up. He flips around, watches us, and then pulls us over. He runs, like Mustang runs.
Okay.
And I'm just a good boy, and take my punishment.
Yeah.
And I got lucky because I went into court. And I actually didn't even get in trouble at court. But when I went in there and it said, street racing is a class B misdemeanor, which is the same as like, I think a DUI.
Yeah.
It's put in that same category. And I'm like, whoa, I'm like screwed. And then I left like on cloud 9 because I got like a $50 fine. And that's it. Because they messed up. They messed up in the court system.
You're like, this sucks. Just put them on me. I'll be like,
I thought I was going to get my license taken away. And I got a speeding ticket the night after I got caught street racing, so they kind of bundled them all into one. And so that would be a lesson. But I got lucky on that one, and I didn't get in trouble. I didn't get my license taken away. I didn't get anything. But I did learn after that, and I've always been very conscious of the law and stuff like that. Not to say that I haven't run with like 911s and stuff and M5s and Vipers when you see them, but I don't do that now, but allegedly I did that back in the day. You're just cruising and all of a sudden you see like an M5 like weaving through traffic, and you're like, this dude wants to run.
And you go, fun.
Yeah, and you're like, I want to see how bad he beats me. And then you're like neck and neck with him. It's exciting. Anyway, let's not talk about street racing. Street racing is bad.
If I had to tell myself something, I would say neutral drops are not a good idea.
No, they're never a good idea. Oh, this is a good one. So yeah, I was actually reading this article too. So on Jalopnik, they're predicting that the Bug-Eye WRX is the next modern classic to blow up in value. What?
Huh?
So it's funny because I was actually listening to the Smoking Tire, and they had the guy from Bring a Trailer on.
Okay.
He actually went out to Bring a Trailer, and they did the interview out there. But they were kind of talking about that, like all these, what's kind of like the next car that's gonna blow up in value. And he was saying like the 240Z is still like a really good value for the money, because you can still get them for like 15, 20, which I'm like, yeah, totally. Like the 510s. But like, I don't necessarily see the Bug-Eye unless you have like, the only time I could see the Bug-Eye being like a $30,000 or even like an MSRP car is if you had like a sub 10,000 mile one that was been like garage stored and super clean. But I could see like the 04 or 04, 05 STIs going up a lot in value.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if you're going to take a GD WRX and, value them, what's the most rare one?
I'd say the 06 Limited.
Yeah, 06 Limited, 05 STI, because that's technically the best.
Yeah.
And if you don't agree, fight
abuse
me.
it.
But then I think the GCs are going to go up in value.
I know, but for the Bug-Eyes to go up in value, like why did you skip over like the 2.5 RS?
Right.
Like a clean, like low 30, 40,000
and those are already starting to creep up, but I'm talking about like getting back up to like the 30, 40 mark. Like kind of like that,
Jesus,
like holy cow, like that's too expensive. Because who would have ever thought that, a Supra would go way up in value?
Yeah.
I could have never predicted that, because
like the E30 M3 is another example.
That is kind of a special car, but I would have never thought it would have gone to the levels that it did.
Yes.
The Supra, the RX-7, the same thing. Like, to me, growing up, a Supra was always just a Supra. Like, it's a Toyota. It's a sporty Toyota.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, there's nothing like inherently super special about it. And I know people out there are probably crying, but I don't care. It is literally just a Toyota, a well-built Toyota sporty car. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, I mean, I can understand if you went out and bought like a Mines, like GTR or something. It's like, or this like, or like an R-Tune
or like the Nismo.
Yeah, whatever, like a limited edition one. And then it's like, yeah, I can see that going up in price, but even just base Supras are like $40,000.
Non-turbos are going for
it's
like
crazy.
high 20s, low 30s.
It's insane to me, and it's not that good of a car. I'm sorry, people. The Supra is not that good of a car.
Sorry, Jeff, who works here.
Aaron says the Supra is better than the 22B. I think so. Like, I mean, just in terms of performance and what you get out of it. But the 22B is a special car.
And I know super limited production.
Super limited production, hand built, blah, blah, blah. So like the 22B will always be a collector's car. It started out as a collector's car, where the Supra never did. The Supra just went crazy on its own because of people all of a sudden. And I blame Fast and Furious, but I also blame Fast and Furious for me sitting here and being able to have a job working on cars.
Yep.
So, you know, Fast and Furious made a lot of cars that I've always wanted unobtainable. But I guess the same with Initial D. Initial D got popular, not as popular as Fast and Furious, but then A86s, and I guess
and that's what fueled the drift world.
Yeah, you know, and it's just like, so now a lot of these even older cars, I think just because so many people are wadding them up into walls and stuff like that, and modding them beyond belief, and you know, it's hard to find a clean. You know, it's hard to find a clean S13. It's hard to find a clean S14. It's hard to find a clean A86.
Well, that's why like the ones that are being imported like through JDM Legends. That's why they're going for $15,000-$20,000. The S13s.
Yeah.
Is because they're clean and like well built and non-abused.
Yeah, non-molested.
And if you can find one even stateside that's been non-molested, that's the price they're going for, even if they have the KA in it.
Yeah. Yeah, and the KA is, I think, a cool motor, even though people are like, oh, it's a truck motor. Yeah, it is, but it's still a good, you know, it's still a good, reliable motor.
It gets the results that need to be out of what it is.
Yeah. Did we lose YouTube?
Oh, did YouTube go? I don't know.
All right.
Oh, no. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see.
Oh, we might have lost everything. I don't know.
Did we lose everything?
It's just saying no signal.
All right. Let's see.
Can someone give us a thumbs up out there if we're still live?
Hello, is anybody out there?
Can anybody hear me?
All right. Well,
we'll see. We'll just keep on rolling with it.
I think we just crapped out.
Facebook dead. Yeah. Can you guys still hear us?
Nah, I think they can hear us still. Maybe.
Still have audio. Yeah, but now you guys can't see our pretty faces.
That's a big problem because especially with Rick, you really need to see Rick's face to understand what's going through his body at that time.
Okay, well, we'll keep it going. We'll keep this one short, though.
All right, yeah, we'll just keep going. Hey, this is now like a real podcast.
Yeah, this is
the
new Forester.
Now I can take my clothes
182 horsepower. Pumpkins getting naked. 182 horsepower. So bye-bye turbo model to the Forester.
Yeah, why? That's a step back. That's not even a step back.
So okay, here's my thing.
More.
Let me give you the Rick perspective.
All right, Rick perspective.
I can see Subaru getting rid of the turbo model. Like that to me, like I don't even care.
Okay.
Because to me, a turbo is just like it is another way of improving efficiency, getting a little bit more power, a little bit more torque. So what if? But okay, so Subaru gets rid of the turbo. And let's say they got rid of the turbo and they're like, we've got a new like FB25 or whatever motor and it makes 200 horsepower. Would that be okay? I think so.
Yeah.
But no, they give you 182 horsepower.
Yeah.
Which is about...
And it's 12 more than what the old one was than that.
The old NA one?
The old FA
that
was in there.
Yeah. So it's dumb. Like, I'm like, no, that to me is what pisses me off is because Subaru... getting rid of the turbo and then still not really upping the power in any significant fashion.
Well, you could prove you did it in the FRS and the BRZ at 200.
Yeah.
And it's in a Forester. It's not like you're really going to be towing anything huge with it.
Right.
So just give it 200, man.
Yeah, give it 220. Give it 227, like the WRX. But like to get rid of the turbo, I don't think is bad. But then to not have an engine option that's like a base engine option that's worth anything, because everyone complains that the NA Subarus are so slow, and they're 100% right.
Yes.
And the cars get bigger and bigger.
Well, especially when they're automatic, it's even worse.
And so it's kind of pitiful, and that's sad to see. But then I was thinking about it. You know, the Forester is interesting because it's one of the few what I would call quote unquote an SUV to have such a hardcore fan base behind it.
Yes.
Like you have like the 4Runners do, the Land Cruisers do, like they've got a pretty, but for a different reason. They're like off-road, you know, like
pure utility.
Yeah, reasons. And it's like they love them for what they are. But a Forester has like this huge fan base, but it doesn't, but for what?
It has no real like definition. Like there's people who lift it and go rock crawling, or they go overlanding.
People who go stance it, people who throw an RB20 swap in it and go drifting, people who use it to cruise the kids around. But it really does have like this like cult-like following.
Wagon Mafia.
Yeah, exactly. And like they do look really good, and I've always really liked the Foresters. I'm not talking crap on them, but like when everyone was getting so upset about the turbo model going away, and I'm like, there is no other model of car. Like, let's say the Toyota 4Runner came out, and they're like, oh, we've switched the engine from this to this. No one would bat an eye.
Correct.
Like you would have like 5 people being like, what? I love that old engine, you know, like, but in the new Forester, it's like, it seems like everybody is so pissed that Subaru got rid of it. They're like, well, Forester's dead to me now.
Because I think what happened is that, so obviously the first gen didn't have a turbo in it, and they were like, it was the old EJ.
Yeah.
And it was fine. And like, people are like, oh, okay, this is cool. We can work with this. And then you got the next one, which was the SG. And people are like, holy hell, we got a turbo.
Yeah,
this is freaking awesome. And then next thing you know, that people, the SG, the SH, that's the body that you like, the 09 through 13.
Yeah.
And that's where it got a little bit bigger, a little bit more family comfortable.
Yeah, but still a good car.
Yeah,
because
there's a turbo.
I know people say that the 5-speed, the 5 isn't as good as the 4 EAT.
Yeah.
But I would disagree because I wouldn't be modding that car like crazy.
Yeah.
And so the 5 EAT to me feels so much more responsive, so much quicker.
Well, it's got a lower first gear, so it's not slow.
And it just gets up and going much quicker and much faster than the 4 EAT version.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's
But here's the thing. You kind of already saw the death of the turbo anyways, because the last generation, the only turbo that you could get was stuck with the CVT. So it's just kind of right then, that's the one I kind of care, because like even in the FG body that came in a manual, so they wanted to still keep it sporty. When it came in just a CVT, they just kind of started giving it a Viking funeral and decided to send it out to sea. And the next thing, no turbo. And it's just kind of like, fine, I saw it coming.
But you know what? They're still going to sell
a crap ton
of them because it looks really good.
Yeah.
But you know what it looks like?
In a sense.
Well, no, it looks like every other Toyota. Whatever,
that is true.
SUV that's out
there.
Because
the RAV4 just came out, and I remember I said, I'm like, it's going to look like this.
Yeah.
And it looks fairly close.
Yeah, but I like it though. I don't not like it. I really like the new Forester. I think it's a very nice looking car. I like all the new technology that they have on it that's standard.
Yeah.
It's a good.
Well, they packed so much technology in that now. It now comes standard with EyeSight.
Yeah, and EyeSight's really cool.
Yeah.
EyeSight's really cool, and the backup with the automatic braking during backup.
Yep.
So there's just a lot of cool things, and it's interesting to see that all these cars now are going more towards these like quote unquote autonomy. In a sense, like these driver aids, like these automatic driver aids, and
what it is I think what's happening is it's making the people who really suck at driving better.
Yeah, for sure, because so many people need that, and but it is a problem though, is because until full autonomous cars come out, and until you literally can with 100% confidence get in, fall asleep, and you'll arrive at your destination.
Yeah.
I feel like it's making people even worse drivers because then they're now relying on these aids.
Now they can actually be on their phone.
Right. And they're like, oh, well, the car will stop if a kid jumps out in front of me, the car is going to stop. So like now I need to pay even less attention to the road because I've got all these fancy sensors and gadgets and gizmos around me, when in reality, that's just a backup. That should be plan B, when plan A should ultimately still be
pay attention.
You pay 100% attention to this missile that you're driving, this now, 4,000, almost 4,000 pound.
Yeah.
I mean, think of the amount of energy that a 4,000 pound object, imagine a stone, a rock that weighs 4,000 pounds and somebody throwing it at you at 70 miles an hour. Like how much energy is in that thing?
I would think about it for maybe about a quarter of a second, then I'd be dead.
Yeah, like it would just, but like people don't realize that they are literally driving, a missile or like a cannonball, essentially this, thing of mass destruction if they want it to be. But then because it's all comfortable and they can listen to Lady Gaga and, Snapchats are coming in and they're like, ha, I've got my Frappuccino.
So I do have to say that is the one thing that is annoying, because like I do have to say lane assist it's stupid.
But it's awesome.
It's awesome, but it's stupid because, again, like what you were just going back, and I just barely realized, is because it allows drowsy people to continue driving and like it's basically the rumble strips of the middle lane.
No, it's like the rumble strips of like the new era.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I mean, rumble strips can essentially go bye-bye now.
Yeah.
Now you've got these like things that buzz and beep and shake and whatever, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you go into a car with adaptive cruise control. Holy crap, is that amazing?
Yeah.
Because then you just push a button and you're still driving, but then the car automatically slows down, automatically speeds up, maintains the speed that you want to go, and will change with the flow of traffic. Because it got really annoying remember when cruise control, like you got your first car with cruise control and you're like, holy crap, like I'm living in luxury. And now to me, like a classic cruise control, I'm like, great, I'll use it for a minute to like, you know, stretch my foot or something like that. But then I usually just go back to using the gas pedal. Yeah. But an adaptive cruise control, it's you literally don't have to use the gas pedal or the brakes anymore, because all you have to do is steer, because it will do everything for you. Yeah. And it keeps a safe distance. It slows down, speeds up. It does everything it needs to do, and it does it brilliantly. And that is a very cool feature. So that's
a current comfort that I do like.
Me too. That I really like, but I don't have a car with adaptive cruise control. I've only driven a few, but it's really nice.
It's freaky when it actually stops for you when you come into a stop.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I love it.
This is a good one. Why does Europe get the fun, very small displacement 3-cylinder like the Turbo Fiesta, and we don't?
Because I really don't understand why like U.S. makers make all these fun cars overseas and everywhere. And like, I know it's not the U.S. the ones making the cars, but it's just like.
But it's the U.S. audience buying the cars or not buying the cars.
But it's just like you have the Fiesta FT, and like that's a brilliant vehicle.
It's so
you can have so much fun.
It is so cool. Like, and I love the idea of a really small displacement, really fun little car. So, like, remember when Nissan came out with their Concept 510, their new Concept 510?
Oh, yes.
Like, how cool was that?
Yeah.
Like, such a cool little car. And to, like, think of, like, that car with a modern drivetrain with, like, a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder turbo mated to a 6-speed transmission with an LSD, everything small, compact, lightweight, very efficient. You have a super fun car that's probably still relatively safe, you know, at least in today's standards, it's safe. And would be super fun to drive, get good fuel economy, and is like the perfect size for like a normal person. Like if you don't have to like throw your family and dogs and all that stuff in there, and you just get this like awesome, amazing little car with a small engine in it. Yeah. I don't see anything wrong with that.
But like that, because
I think they think people won't buy it. Well, people won't buy it.
People bought the last gen Fiesta ST.
Yeah.
People bought that. Like middle-aged 40-year-old men bought it, and they never modified them in the US. Everywhere else they were modified. But like the new one, like we're probably not going to get it. And that makes me sad.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like the what is it? The SFR, the Toyota SFR.
Oh, such a cool little car.
Such a cool car concept.
Same exact thing.
We're not going to get it.
Yeah, and it makes me very, very sad. It's just stuff like that makes.
It's because the U.S. market, and now we're going back to the Forester, is they want to make everything big, like the Ascent. The Ascent. Did you ever think an 8-passenger Subaru?
No, never.
No.
You know what we need is another fuel crisis.
Yes.
To get cars, bring back the small cars. Like, but I have a feeling if there was another fuel crisis, you would have a really big push towards EV. It wouldn't be making cars smaller. It would be making cars like most manufacturers would start. It would be an incentive for manufacturers to really start pushing EV very hard.
What you would see is what's happening over in Europe that they're doing, where they're banning diesels and like banning petrol cars. You would see that actually ramped up to 11 and be pushed around the world.
Yeah.
Which sucks but then that's the beginning of Minority Report.
No, that's the beginning of like people modifying EV cars, and like some dude's going to roll up, like some guy is going to be in his like Tesla P22D or whatever, like the big baller, you know, makes like a gigawatt of, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And does 0 to 60 in 0.7 seconds. And some kid is going to roll up in his like Chevy Volt, you know, that's like super modified and like has the ability to drain like all of its batteries in like half a second. And it will do 0 to 60 in like 0.2 seconds. Like to the point where like you need to wear a G suit to even drive it. But like that's what it's going to come to, is people are going to start modifying them, and then that's when you're really going to see, I think, a whole new thing open up of people modifying electric cars to just produce insane amounts of torque and power.
Well, it's like 10 years ago, I joked around. I'm like, oh, the future of the car industry is that people are going to be modifying their cars just like how they do their computers.
Yeah, totally. Or like they do their RC cars.
Yeah. And guess what? That's what it's going to be.
It's going to be exactly that, you know, and it's always it's going to take somebody figuring out the OEM systems, and there's going to be a bunch of Teslas that are going to go to the junkyard eventually. I mean, you know, it's going to happen. People are
6-wheel drive Tesla with 6 battery packs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, seriously. I mean, that's it. It's people are going to get these old motors. They're going to like put a bigger cooling system in them. They're going to put a bigger, you know, whatever it is that drives power to that motor.
Yeah.
And whether you modify the internals of it to handle the power, or that if the cooling system can handle that, but they're just going to figure out a way to pump more power into that motor, and then they're going to stack battery packs.
Yeah.
And they're going to like, or use the newest technology in batteries, and they're just going to throw that then into the car, and it's going to be able to produce an insane amount of power.
Yeah.
And it's going to overheat super quick, but that's okay because
I can't wait to liquid cool and overclock my car.
No, I mean that's really what it's going to be. I mean, even
that's
Teslas
just
and stuff,
insane.
I think have liquid cooling on them. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive they have a liquid cooler. But you're going to get people that go to the extreme, and they're going to, you know, so like maybe the factory heat exchanger on the Tesla is like your Honda Civic radiator or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to exchange that much heat.
Yeah.
People are going to be putting in like 8-row aluminum, you know, Koyo's.
There's Koyo's future.
Yeah, Koyo's going to come out with this like heat exchanger specific for electric cars. It's just going to like, you're going to be able to run, you know, very high power through these motors and keep them nice and chilly. And then people are going to start like liquid cooling the actual computer components that drive the motor. I'm such an idiot when I'm saying this. Like I'm trying to like,
no,
but you know what I'm saying.
Well, I know what you're saying, but then like, here's the other thing too, is like, don't feel like an idiot because you're not, because you're much more intelligent than 99% of the people that would even try to fathom thinking about this idea.
Yeah, I just wish I knew what the names of the components were, right? Because they do have names. Like
yes.
You have the motor, and I think I've got
the
that
Flugelheisen.
Right. Yeah, I think I have that right. But then you have the battery pack, and then you have something that sits between the battery pack and the motor, and it's like a driver of some sort. It regulates the amount of juice going from the battery to the motor, and whatever that is called, people are going to modify that and start cooling that, like with electric or with water cooling.
Okay, and a Honda B16 for power generator in the trunk.
Yeah, that'll be your backup generator.
That'll be your backup.
But then you think about the future of electric cars. So you could have, like, let's say battery technology, you get really lightweight batteries, because that's the main, I think, that's holding back electric cars, is just the battery technology is crap, right? And so you get this.
And I think weight's starting to become an issue if they wanted to press that even further.
Right. And so
that's a big thing.
You have battery, you know, once the technology gets, you know, to the point where batteries become lightweight and you know, efficient enough and can have very high capacities and very quick drain time, so you can drain a lot of juice very quickly and efficiently. Then like you're going to have these really fast cars, but then I do think you're still going to run into the same problem where, like, racing vehicles, for example, or like you want to go out to the track, like you go out to a high performance driving event. What do?
Mm-hmm.
You either have swappable battery packs, or you have an incredibly efficient engine still in the car, maybe even a rotary. Whoa.
What?
Maybe even a rotary to run a generator to keep the batteries charged.
What happens if oil gets electrified?
I don't even know what that means.
Like if oil fell on the battery packs?
Oh.
From the rotary leaking oil?
Hey. Anyway, let's wrap this thing up. So we don't have signal. I'm sure we lost like 99%.
I've gotten like 15 messages about it. Yeah, we know.
Yeah. So yes, this is an official podcast because we have no signal. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was our internet. I don't know if it was Facebook. I don't know if it was YouTube. I don't know if it was our camera. I have no idea, and I don't really care.
Dude, I think it's the Easter Bunny that just said, just get out of here.
Yeah, basically. But either way, we're going to wrap it up. I hope everybody has a happy Friday. Remember, our spring sale ends here in like a few hours. Use Take 10 on our website to get 10% off your entire order. Method Wheels, 20% off. We're giving away our STI. Every $5 you spend at Rally Sport, you get 1 automatic entry. And we're also giving away $5,000 cash money on top of that. And then I actually just saw a pop-up on our website for a $250 gift card.
Yeah, we do have a $250 gift card. If you go to our website, put in your email address, you'll be entered into a $250 gift card drawing that we will announce at the end of every single month. No, we're not going to announce one tomorrow. It'll be at the end of April.
That makes sense. Anyway, thank you guys for watching and then listening.
This is a hybrid right now.
That's right.
This is a hybrid.
And we will see you guys, or not, next week.
See you, maybe, whatever. Well,
depends on if this works or not. Anyway, have a good weekend.
Take care.